So I was just doing a voice recording to my mother. You know, we're talking about one of my older brothers, and that, he lives in Israel, and he's just having a very heavy, things are getting to him quite a bit at the moment. I mean, he moved to Israel from South Africa 2 years ago. He's got 5 children, and this whole CV story, lockdown, whatever it is just, it's just like really, like for most people, a real wrench in the works, in a way. And so, is it a monkey wrench in the works? I'm not sure. And so he's really, it's throwing everybody a curveball. He's had his 2 shots already of the Pfizer needle, walking around with his green card, and his wife as well, and etc. But his business is affected, his family's life. I mean, his children haven't been to school for I don't know how long. I don't know. I mean, take a guess, 8 months maybe, or something like that. And now that they do go to school, it's like only half day and during 2 days a week, and it's just chaos. It's just. And my brother is somebody he's an outstanding guy. He's very capable on many levels, and very skilled, and just a really sweet, nice guy. Sadly, he spreads himself too thin. He takes on more than he can manage, although he does manage okay, but I think it takes its toll on him, but he doesn't show it. And he helps anybody who asks. He's really just such a giving guy, and he's learning his boundaries, I suppose, but sometimes I think to his own detriment that he helps others. And, again, I mean, he's got a good heart, but I think sometimes he's also motivated for the approval of others, for the acknowledgement of his achievements. I mean, that's how we were raised, by my father especially, that you're only as good as your achievements, and and how you, from my father's point of view, how you can sort of excel and make me proud. And so he operates a lot on that still, ethos, or just design in a way, or blueprint, so to speak, something or other. And I said to my mother, and he's always okay. He's always fine. Like, how you doing? Fine, fine. He does never complains. Really seldomly complains, right? And like, even though you can see, and you think, wow, that's really courageous of him, but at the same time, what is he doing often of the time is that he's ignoring the way that he's feeling. He's not respecting the way that he's feeling. He doesn't honor the way that he feels. He'll honor your feelings before he honors his own feelings, type of thing. And, I was saying to my mother that, sadly, this is how life is. And then, like I said, if he can take a moment and honor his feelings, how significant that can possibly be. What I'm saying in a way is that we only, for most people, only have moments of opportunities that are brought forth to us, where we can have moments of self-reflection. We can have moments of heartfulness. Now, what I mean by heartfulness, I'm just saying, like, where we are present, where we are still, where we are engaged with the profound mystery of life. Where we are not tunnel visioned, where we are not extremely focused on the external and being driven by the external, the rat race, the matrix, the hyper-controlled narratives of culture and whatever it is, the expectations of who you're supposed to be in this culture, wearing your mask all the time. I'm not talking about a face mask, in a sense. I'm talking about a metaphoric mask, We don't have time, we have all of these distractions, we have all of these devices that require our attention all the time, although we give it our attention all the time, which doesn't make us present at all, which doesn't make our lives feel real whatsoever. Engaged externally all the time, we're not taking stock, we're not taking a breath, and people, what they'll do a lot of the time, well, I do meditate. Okay, what do you do in the meditation? I just watch my thoughts. Okay, great. I'd go even deeper. What's the relationship with yourself? How are you feeling? Get in touch with the emotions. I'm going to upload a video that I've already done about the importance of processing. Processing, man, processing. How are you feeling? How are you feeling about yourself? How are you feeling about your relationship with the divine? How are you feeling with your relationship with being here? Type of thing. And so on and so forth. And so when we can have a moment of insight and reflection, but again, a profound moment of insight, it's kind of like a peak experience, so to speak, in a way where we rise above, we rise out of the valley of unconsciousness into a higher state of consciousness, onto the top of the mountain, and we can see far distances and all around, and we unplugged. Now it's absolutely scary how plugged in we are. It's absolutely frightening how plugged in we are. I mean, majority of people, I myself as well, to a very, very large degree, I've often spoken about the importance, the real importance of meditation, I've spoken about myself with coffee enemas, and I'm sure people frowned upon that and whatever it is, but like I've said before, it really helps me. Spoken about taking, Mary Jane in high dosages in a way, or edibles or something like that, CBD stuffs and all kinds of things, and or whatever it might be your meditation, what helps you slip into, into the moment, into the moment of being, right? I wouldn't even say, into the now, because it just sounds so, it's so cliched. There is a truth to it, but I think sometimes the moment of the now is like, I think it's just so surface level. Like in the moment of the now, it's like kind of just see your emotions go by, see your thoughts go by, recognize your pain body. It's all about this observation. I'm saying, no, dive deep into it. I'm saying not dive deep into the thoughts of your mind, but, why are you thinking these thoughts? Why are you feeling this way? What are you feeling? What's your attitude towards yourself? What's your attitude towards life? Like take stock, or see, hey, I am here. I am alive. The now just, in regards to Eckhart Tolle and things like that, it just sounds very, very linear, in a sense, and very, I don't know, each to their own, but very superficial, in a sense, I'm talking about like being in the now, out of your mask, man, out of your persona, out of this dream world narrative matrix, to understand yourself as a divine being, a spark, and that is within the darkness all around, baby, and that's the story, that's the narrative, the journey, the hero's journey, the adventure, right, that you are on, yourself as an individual, all of these things, just because encompassing in all of that in the moment of your beingness, not just sitting there and just watching your thoughts, or there's no future, there's no present, there's only the now. I don't know, there is present, there is past, there is, on this playing field, there is all of that. And that's what's keeping us so engaged. I'm saying, by not recognizing, hold on, how can I, going into the future, not become a part of the energy of the chaosness? How is it that, anyways, how do I navigate? How do I be true being, authentic being, real being? How can I be present? How can I heal? I'm getting carried away. It's not what this is about. So, because in the moment of being, man, there's passion, there's anger, it's hot, it's transcendental. It's not peacefulness. It is in a way, but it's not. It's adventure. That's what it is. It's adventure. Again, for myself, when I used to smoke Mary Jane, there I was when I was visiting my friend Taboy in the village, in this little tin house, no electricity. I'm the only white guy around for a while, in this black village. And again, they're not wearing loincloths and things like that village. They got normal clothes and cell phones. There's barely any signal and whatever it is. And there I was sitting, actually feeling quite sorry for myself, because I thought to myself, like, what's wrong with me, you know? Jewish white boy from a privileged upbringing, like here, sitting amongst these people. Half of them were drunk, which wasn't pleasant in that way, you know? And then I smoked some Mary Jane, and I made myself something to eat, or I heated up some food, and I thought to myself, wow, look at you, Aaron. Look at you, in the middle of a village in Africa, you know, in South Africa. Something that your friends and family have never done. Here you sit, you know, completely on such an adventure, right? Something so different, so extreme to what your friends would consider. They'd say, you're absolutely crazy. What are you doing there? You know? And whatever it is, most of the white people that I know don't really know how to have sincere relationship with black people. You know, I mean, they don't even know how to have relationships with one another. I'm saying, you know, so we all got these masks and we all got these places, and you see, that's for me. I don't have that. I don't have an idea of, well, you're a woman or you're a man or you're black or you're white or you're 90 years old or you're 9 years old. We're all just souls, man, having this kind of experience. Although I do pay attention to the narcissists. I do pay attention to the people that are asleep. But for me, everybody is just as much as an infinite light of, you know, the divine potential that's inside of them. So I don't see color, I don't see race, I don't see sex, I don't see age. You know, for me, I don't know. Anyways, but there I was in this village, just feeling so adventurous, like, wow, this is so exciting. You know, this is so riveting, and I was so proud of myself, so impressed with myself, you know, for doing something so different than my father or my mother ever envisioned for me. And again, you know, this was it was quite a while ago. You know, it was probably about 7-8 years ago, but I was in my 30s. I'd be like, well, I'm not married, you know, I don't really have a stable job in a way, and I just don't fit the normal profile. You know, I thought, well, isn't this thrilling? Isn't this exciting? Isn't this something different? Isn't this something to write home about, you know, type of thing? Isn't this, you know, just, I don't know. And that's how I felt when I smoked some Mary Jane. Now, I'm not saying Mary Jane's for everybody. You know, if you don't know what Mary Jane is, it's a green herb. It grows on plants, you know, ganja, cannabis, if you will. And, but I don't smoke anymore. But it helped me at the time, it really did. And so that's what I'm talking about, is that we get caught up in this life, in the mundane. It's so mundane, it's so repetitive. It's often so dry, it's so desolate, it's so a lack of adventure in a way. You know, it's just so basic. You live in these square buildings, in these square type of lives. It's away from the adventure of nature, of exploration, or whatever it is. We're entertained by people with, you know, the lowest of IQs, and I'm talking about politicians, governments, celebrities, whatever it is. You know the drill. You know the drill. It's not an easy place. And so we lose the adventure of spirit, the adventure of the human soul journey, right, that is involved here, that's going on here. And we become complacent and we become irritable, you know, and we become tied to our masks. And we don't realize that, again, we are these spiritual beings having this kind of experience. And then sometimes we size ourselves up. We like to say to other people, we look and say, well, why can't my wife be more like me? Or my brother be more like me? Or, you know, we don't realize that other people are still very much in Plato's cave. You know, we don't appreciate how much other people are in Plato's cave. They have no idea about what I'm talking about. Majority of people, they could possibly feel it. But who's got the time to even listen to this right now? Who's got the time? Who's got the concentration? We don't have the concentration anymore. We have the concentration, yes, of a goldfish. So we can't concentrate on anything. We don't have the maturity to understand that there is something as a divine plan to this all. We are such babies. We're not just babies. We're like infantile, self-entitled, whatever it is, that we don't actually understand that there's a magic here, that there's a mystery here, that there's an adventure here, that there's an imagination here. We don't realize it. We are unaware of it. We are disconnected from that sense of adventure, that sense of mystery, that sense of exploration, that sense of meaning. And yet, like I've said this before, we sleep every night. We go into these realms of dream world where we are so far out. This morning I was having a dream. I woke up like at 6:30. I thought, no, I haven't slept in days properly, nights for a long time. I'm going back to bed. And I thought I'd sleep till 8 o'clock, but I landed up till 9 o'clock. And I dreamt of that I was I still remember it, but I was in this hall and they were giving some talks, and behind me were all celebrities. There was Ewan McGregor, Ethan Hawke, Tom Selleck, just a whole bunch of these guys, and I was looking at each one of them. I thought to myself, they look pretty much normal human beings. They are. I don't know who else I saw. I can't remember, but it was like full of celebrities, and I thought, well, isn't this interesting? But the way that we see these people as gods. And for me, I was like, I'm in this room with all of these celebrities, and there was much else going on. I thought to myself, then I wake up and I'm like groggy. I'm like, what? 9 o'clock? Oh shit, I overslept. I didn't really have to be anywhere. I did have some duties and responsibilities, but I was okay. I thought to myself, like, well, where am I now? Oh, here I am. That feeling you wake up from a dream, sometimes even if it's a nightmare and it's like, it was so far out and here I am. You throw your feet off the bed, your legs off the bed, you kind of sit up, whatever it is, you're like, something or other, you're needing the toilet, the light is too bright in the room or something like that, you don't want to open the curtains just yet. I don't know, there's the neighbor's next door neighbor's alarm is going off, it's like, you're like, oh gee whiz. Or something or other, or maybe you got the kids playing in the room next door and they're fighting and they're screaming with one another. Or something, or a car drives past and the guy's listening to his music and the bass is boom, 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 boom. This world's busy, this world's hectic. This world's crazy. There's no doubt about it. Well, anyway, so you wake up and then eventually the dream fades and the mask starts to come about, and the body needs to go to the toilet and be relieved. And maybe some water, or you just wake up, you're very thirsty, you need some water. Down a glass of water. Okay, what now? Where am I going now? What do I need to do now? And it's void. It's removed. It's removed from, you check your cell phone, what messages came through, what emails came through. Oh, the bank wants whatever this, and then you remember I got a leak in the roof. I got to call the plumber, and the plumber's going to try and rip me off. And you wake up and it's like, this relative of mine is sick in hospital, and they're talking about another lockdown here. All the drama, all the bloody drama. And that's what life's about. It's very, very dramatic today. Very, very extreme, very, very demanding. Very, very overwhelming. Anyways, trying to get to my point that I haven't made. Is that moments for like my brother, if he can just have a moment and honor his feelings. And I was speaking to my mother, here we have load shedding. It's where in certain, around the whole country, it happens every few weeks for like a number of days, can last like 1 day, 2 days, 5 days, more than a week and a half, where it's called load shedding, and they cut the power to certain suburbs, certain cities, not the whole city, but certain suburbs within the city, I don't know, they'll cut like 50% of the, or 40% of the certain suburbs within the city, power for 4 hours, 2 hours at a time, 2 hours during the morning, 2 hours at night. Cut off, nothing you can do. They do this because the money that was supposed to go for the upkeep and of the grid, the electrical grid and maintenance, goes into corrupt people, so they can buy fancy cars and fancy clothes and fancy houses and things like that. You can't understand this. And so we sit in the dark. We sit with candles. I mean, a lot of people still have battery on their phone because they charged their phone before, so you still have network. All the cell phone towers have got battery backups. Some people have inverters. But like I was saying to my mother, that if one family out of a whole city, okay, it's a bit harsh, maybe a bit hectic, out of a whole suburb can sit around the table, around a candle, and eat dinner as a family without having to check their phones. Maybe all their battery on their phones are dead, right? They are really present with one another. There's no TV working, nothing. Forget about it. There's no iPads. And they sit and they have a moment, a family moment of how people used to do it. 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 2,000 years ago. And sit around and eat. And be present with their food. Be present with one another and take stock. And pause it. Pause time. Pause everything. And just sit and recognize one another and look into each other's eyes. And maybe, say grace, hold each other's hands and feel each other and be present with one another. And say, how are you doing? How are you really doing? What's going on for you? Talk to me. But let's really, and if there's one moment, then there's magic being made in that moment. And that's what I'm talking about, is that in the lives that we live, we can spend 80 years on this planet and we'll only have maybe 3 or 4 moments for majority of us, maybe a few more, maybe a handful. And those moments are opportunities to extend those moments into something more profound, into more of those kind of moments, to build on those moments, those insights, that awareness, that higher states of consciousness, that deep heartfulness, that deep space within, right? Whatever it is, that high observational point of view, whatever it is, disengaged from the narrative. Some of us never have it. Some of us, maybe it's going on. I think majority, if they are, and that's the thing, is that if we can bless each other to have these kind of moments, because like she says in Vanilla Sky, every passing moment is another opportunity to turn it all around. And I really believe that. I really believe that for every single human being, if they so desired, if they so desired, if they were really, courageous enough, committed enough, confident enough, risking enough to do it, then they can start. And they won't do a 180 at that moment, but it will change the trajectory. It'll change, like I said to my mother, you see a train on the railway track, and you pull the lever in order, and the tracks. I don't know, I'm sure there's a word for it. It connects to another railway line. It's such a small movement of that, the rail moving over to into the other rail. I don't know what you want to call it, another direction, but it puts the train in a completely different direction. So that's what I'm talking about, that we have these moments, and for some of us, we have more of these moments. For the more conscious you are, the more moments you have, the more ability you're able to press pause on it all, freeze frame it all, and see the expansiveness of your whole life, your whole biography. See the whole mystery, this whole journey that we're on. See your ego, your relationship with yourself, your relationship with others, your relationship with the divine, your relationship with meaning. To see all of this, Very, very blessed, very, very fortunate to have these moments. They're very, very powerful. And without these moments, nothing can be done, really. No change can happen. It will just continue the same. Everything, all of it will just continue the same. We'll just be led externally, led, directed, influenced completely. Headless chickens, hooked in to every cell of our body, from culture, the narrative, the illusion, the maya, the demands, the expectations, the fraud, everything hooked into every cell of our being, pulling us without us even knowing, dragging us. Remember those Western movies where the cowboy would or the I don't know, the bad guy, and he would take his rope and wrap it around the victim, under his arms or something like that, and then drag him behind the horse. And you see this poor guy being dragged, over rocks and whatever else, and it's terrible. And so you see this and it's like, oh my word, and that's what's going on now. And so for even my brother, may it be for him that he just has a moment where he's not being dragged. For everybody that I know, where they're not being dragged, where they can just have a moment, and they can use that moment to turn it all around and realize who they are, what they are part of, and where they are going. All right, folks, thanks for taking the time. Take care.